Hello everybody, it's Drama Free Friday all day long. Welcome everybody. I'm Barb and I've got to close the blinds. I'll be right back. On bright sunny days, that sun really streams in this window. Hello, Hermie. Hi, Purple Nana Linda. Amber. Hi, Cheshire Cat Dar. Hello, hello. How are you guys today? I hope you're doing well. It is Drama Free Friday all day long. We hope. Hi, Artie Dar. Hi, Connie. Good to see you guys. It is Friday. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. I don't know how long I'll be here, but I'm going to be here for a while. It is, had kind of a tough time figuring out what we were going to do today. I think I got it figured out. We're going to revisit something I did a long time ago. Hello, Dana. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Linda. Those of you who are VIP members who are checking in, I have not got the email sent out for tomorrow. I haven't sent it out because I honestly didn't know how great I was feeling. I'm going to do my absolute best to do the class tomorrow, and it may be short, but I'm gonna do it. I think. So, yes, so I have to get the email sent out. So be sure and watch your email really carefully. I didn't send out my normal emails earlier in the week because I was really not well earlier this week. But I'm doing better now. Hello from Italy, Medley. I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name, but welcome. Let's see, Andrea, Barbara, hello, hello. Hi, Gail. Me too, Mickey, or me too, Hermie. Hi, Mickey. Okay, we're going to jump right into it. So on Monday, I did, Monday evening, we did some jelly plate printing on a 5x7 plate that I hadn't used before. And so we just did a variety of little prints in different colors using some color shift paint, the folk art color shift paint. So that's what we did. That was all we did. So I'm going to use some of those papers today. Hi, Journey. I had Starbucks a little bit earlier, so I'm having tea. I'm having tea today. Hi, Jean. Hello, Kellyanne. So what we're going to do is we're going to revisit something I did before a long time ago. And so we're going to take a look at it. I'm going to explain the process to you, and then I'm going to do a simplified version of it today. And then hopefully we'll finish them into cards on Monday. Making note cards. Hello, Peggy. I don't know where Chance is today. He must be upstairs laying down. I don't know. Okay. He's somewhere. He just hasn't discovered I'm talking yet. You like simplified versions? That's good. The other day, Barbara, when you were on with Lisa, My Eclectic Life, is that right? Lisa and Diane Fago, and there were 3 of you on the screen streaming together, and maybe it was yesterday. I don't know. I've kind of lost track of the days. Kind of lost track of the days this week. And Chance was on my lap because it was a day, I was feeling better but not great, and he was on my lap and he was enthralled watching all of you because there were so many hands on the screen moving, and he just thought that was great. He loves watching YouTube. He is a YouTube cat. He's a YouTube freak. He is a freak. He's so funny. He's funny, funny boy. All right, I'm going to make a spot for my tea here. Thanks for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. Chances, he is just funny. But he was loving it. I didn't even have the sound on, but boy, he was loving it. The cat was on my lap. You know how they do? They stick their little front legs in, you know, they're kind of on their haunches and they're all settled in, and he was just... And then every once in a while he'd get his paw up there and he'd hit the screen. So he'd either pause it, no pun intended, or he would, you know, when you touch the screen, it was on my phone, it would go dark. And then he's like, and then he'd just get this look on his face like, well, what happened? And then a couple of times he got up and looked over the back of the phone or looked around. He was trying to figure out where everybody was. Hi, Brenda. All right, I'm going to put the tea away. So, you guys, if I don't get the studio cleaned up where I can deal with it, it's going to be a bad situation. Anyway, let's take a look at this process. Some of you may remember this. This came from back in 2018. I was impressed that I could even find the envelope of instructions. Actually, I was pretty excited that I could find them. So let's see, where shall I start? I'll start with pictures. So I think I've talked to you guys before about my dad, who was a professor at the university. And let's see, is this the way this goes? Hold on just a second. Trying to get this the direction that I still isn't it. Okay, I think that's it. Yes. Okay. Anyway, he was a professor at the university, and he taught floriculture and all different kinds of things to do with flowers. And so I ended up with a bunch of his prints, color prints, not a ton, but some, and he took lots and lots of pictures of flowers. He would have had a ball with digital photography, believe me, but he used film photography, and a lot of it was slides for many years, and then he went to prints. And there were a lot of his prints that I stumbled across when I was cleaning stuff out that the prints were bad, you know, for one reason or another. And so I've utilized a lot of the bad prints in my artwork over the years because I really like those. I like them if they're double exposed or if they're underexposed or overexposed. I like those because you can do so many different things with them. Anyway, so I was going to show you some of the pictures of some of the flowers that I've worked with. Some of them have worked really well, some not so well, but these were all in my stash of things for this particular class. I don't even know what this one is, to tell you the truth. Maybe one of you guys in the chat will know. I don't even know what this is, but I like the coloration. I like the shape of it. I haven't done anything with this yet. I have made it into a design, but I haven't done anything with it yet. These are lilies, and he used to grow lilies outside, and so these are, I don't know what kind of lilies they are. There's tiger lilies and there's day lilies. I think these are day lilies of some kind. I don't know. And another thing he really liked to grow were Amaryllis. He grew tons and tons of Amaryllis. And this is about the time of year, January, February probably, or when the Amaryllis would come in. And he would always be looking for people to take the Amaryllis off of his hands because he would propagate them and divide the bulbs and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what this is. This is probably some fancy flower because he you know, the one thing that I didn't do was learn from him very well, but I did turn this into a design, and it wasn't very effective because it was too much the same color. Interesting design, but not for the purpose of this. And this is another one of the lilies. This is the one I actually used, and this is the Amaryllis that I'm going to use today. So that's that. He always took lots and lots of pictures. And so this is my dog when I was a little girl. Her name was Wendy, and she was a boxer. And they got her when I was really small, and she was a puppy. And they put her in the playpen with me, so the story goes. And she lived from 1953 to 1966. And so this is Wendy. So we're going to talk about what I did to create this. I'm going to show you a bunch of examples, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Okay? So to turn these into cards, like, I'm going to show you one of the, okay, this is a card made from this image. Okay, so this is the image, this is the resulting card. So it's turned into kind of a cartoon and then made into a card. So so that's what I'm going to show you, how I arrived at this, and then I'll show you the different examples. So what you want to do, if you like this kind of thing, you need a piece of tracing paper that you'll put over your image, okay? And then you look for the simplification. How can you simplify the image and into the most basic, very basic parts? And sometimes it will seem strange to you because like this leg back here looks really strange, but that's exactly what there is. You can barely see it, but there's a leg back there, a leg and a hip. And you have to include those things. Otherwise, if you don't, the dog in this case, if you don't include that, she would fall over. Okay, so I did a very, very basic outline, and you can do this with anything as long as you can see enough of the image to do this, okay? To get clear definition somehow. If you can't get the definition to be really clear, then make it up. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat for a minute. Hi, Becky. Yes, happy birthday. I am glad you had a birthday, Becky. If I'd been on the ball, I would have indeed sent you a birthday card. Instead, you're going to just have to accept my birthday wishes. I should have been better at that. I should have been more on the ball than I was. Okay, so once I had my my image, okay, my tracing, then you've got to enlarge it because it's impossible to work with an image this size, okay? It's just, you can't work with one that size. So you need to take it to a copy machine, or in my case, I used my printer, which is a cheap printer, and it's living up to its name right now because it's not cooperating with me very well. I have an HP, and I can't remember the number on it. Anyway, I've had it for several years, and it's living up to me always saying it's an inexpensive printer. So what I did was I enlarged my design, like I don't even know how much, but a lot. Okay, so I went from this size up to this size. So I don't even know how much I enlarged that. It was probably 200% or something, I'm guessing. And the reason for doing that is because it's so much easier to work large than it is to work tiny. This is just too tiny to get the detail. You can work large and then you can shrink it down, but it's very hard to work small scale. Some people are good at that. Hello, Joan. Some people are good at working really small. It's not something that I'm particularly adept at. My fingers don't like to work that tiny anymore. They used to. So once you have gone from this to this to this, then you want to get out your cardstocks, and this is patterned paper. So this is like just scrapbook paper. And this is probably cardstock weight. It's been a long time since I've made it, but it has enough of a lip on it that I think it's probably cardstock weight. And I just picked out a couple of different patterns, and then I made 2 pieces, and I'm going to show you more about this in a minute once we do the Amaryllis. But you cut the major pieces apart. So in this case, I only had to have 2, one for the head and one for her body. And then I created those 2 different patterns, 2 different pieces. And then I just drew in the extra lines. So I added the paw definition, I added her leg and the definition of this leg. I added the nose, the eyes, the definition for the line between, because boxers are notorious for kind of a wrinkly forehead. So I simplified that down with just one line coming down the center of her nose and forehead. Left out all the other definition. And once I put the head on her body, so it was the right, and I always have one master copy so I can keep everything in proportion, because I still, whether anybody else recognizes her, I want to be able to recognize her. And I inked around the edges before I put the pieces together. So I inked around her head and I inked around her body, glued the 2 pieces together, and then put the whole thing on a piece of black cardstock. So just like this, black cardstock from the craft store. And then just cut out around the edge of the cardstock. And that way, if I use paper, which I honestly don't know if this was paper or cardstock that I used. If I use paper, it gives it some weight. And so that way I have her where she's kind of sturdy enough that I'm not going to bend her up and screw her up. Hi, Dorothy. And then here is another version. So I did her in a couple of different versions so that I had some choices to work with. And they're a lot of fun if you do this kind of stuff. You can just, you want to stay, in my opinion, you want to stay kind of basic, because then if you're working in a kind of a basic way, then when you start making the cards, that's when you can give the different personalities to and change the expression and stuff. Okay? All right. So that is how I approached that. Once I had the dog finished, so once she was like this, then I took these pieces and I put them back on the copy machine and I copied them again and reduced them down to the size that I wanted them to be. So to go on a card front, this is too little. But of course this is pretty big unless you're just going to use part of it. But just putting it back on the copy machine and printing it out, making color copies, is how I got this size. So you can see this size, you can see the difference in the size, right? It's not the teeny one, it's not the itty bitty dog, but it's certainly not this great big dog. And these were the card blanks that I had, which are, I think, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Right, the card blank is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I buy these already done. And the color, I don't make them myself. Some people do, I don't. And so I reduced her in size, cut her out, and let's see, what did I do? Yeah, I just printed her, cut her out, and then applied her to a card front. So this is a card front. This is a piece of paper that it was a leftover scrap from something. And then I made a flower, and I just put the flower on her head and added a word. So that's that one. But it looks like I've done a whole lot more work on this than I really have. The work is all done over here. So there's that one. Hey, Tracy. Bromeliad, is that what this one is? That's what this one is? Could be. I don't know. Here's another one. This is the other version. Okay, so this is the other version. And in this case, what I did was just, I cut the mouth. Okay, so I cut the upper jaw with a craft knife. I put a piece of cardstock, a little skinny strip of cardstock, in under her upper jaw and added a flower. So the flower is made out of cardstock, and so is the stem. And so I just added that in there. And this was just a plain cardstock back, where this was a piece of some kind of background that I created ahead of time, you know, scrap left over from something. This is just plain cardstock. Here's another one. Same dog. Okay, same one here. Once you figure out the size you need, then you might as well just print a bunch of them, you know. And you can do them on an inkjet printer, or you can take them to a copy shop and have them do it at a copy shop, where they're laser copies then. Or if you have a color laser printer, which I don't have, you can do that. This, I did the same thing. I created the bone out of white cardstock, and I probably just edged it with black, and cut the mouth, and then inserted the bone in the mouth. So this is where it gets to be a lot of fun, because you just kind of make it up the way you want. And this again was a cardstock mat that I put on the background. And this one is the other dog, so that's this version. And this is put right on the cardstock without any mat at all. And the little quote I found was "My heart's desire," so I just drew a little tiny red heart on her chest. But these kinds of note cards are really good to have on hand, I think. And so I enjoy that. So these were all made from that version. Another thing you can do is you can take the size. So this is slightly reduced. Let's see. Yeah, it's just slightly reduced from this size. And in this case, I just filled up the card. So I cut off all the stuff down here and put a quote or just a phrase on it, added a flower that I made, just cut out a little flower and put it on her head. So those are fun to do too, and that's done directly on the cardstock. base, just like this. There's no matting under it like these. And I think those are all the versions of Wendy that I had to show you. Hi, Shu. Hi, Rhonda. Okay, so there is that. So that is how that's the process for this. So I'm going to show you on the one of the lilies so that you can see what the lily is like. As soon as I put all this jazz back in my folders so I don't lose it. So if you have a pet that you want to memorialize or just have fun with, you don't have to memorialize it, you can just have fun with it. This is a great thing to do. Let me show you one that was not successful. That was this one. You know, because it's good to show you mistakes too, right? The flower was this one. And in an effort to try to give it some dimension, I made some different levels of color and stuff, and it's just butt ugly. If I had done more work on the center, I might have gotten away with it, but it is butt ugly. There is no, there isn't any other two ways about it. So not everything I do is successful, and if you're not successful with one, don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about it. See, I went to a lot of work to do that ugly thing. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And then this one is this one. And I decided that it really didn't have enough, didn't have a good stopping place. If I stopped with this row of petals, it wasn't really enough. It just, it wasn't a great choice. So I opted not to do that one. So not everything that you decide to do is necessarily super successful. Okay. So here is the process for the lily. This is the lily, and I, again, traced it with, and then if there's a petal that's not there all the way, make it up. Okay, just make it up. And so that's what I did. So I traced it and added, ad-libbed a little bit so I could get all of the petals. And then enlarged the design until it was big enough that, I'm not sure I have all the steps here. I don't. But I enlarged it, and then I divided each of the petals out. So I had a pattern for each individual petal on this. And then I turned it into this flower. So these were all just different card stocks. This was a piece of paste paper or jelly. I think this was a jelly print, this one. The rest of them were all just different scrapbooking papers. And this was probably some painted paper I did. The stamen. And then once the flower was assembled, then I put it on black. Again, because a lot of these I think were just paper weights. Some of them were cardstock, but most of them was paper. Most of them were paper, and so I needed something that was going to back it to make it sturdy enough that I could work with it. And so from there I did exactly the same process, which is to take it back to the copy machine, because it's so much easier to work in something this big. Take it back to the copy machine and make copies of it. And so these are, I think all of these are lilies. Yeah. So then I reduced it. Okay, so I reduced it down. and then printed it out so that it was the size that would fit. Oh, Jan, thank you for the illicit liquid top-up fun. Thanks, Jan. Tell Mr. Bear I said hello. Okay. So then I cut it out. After I printed them out, then I cut them out and then added it to the card front. It's a pretty simple process once you start that. And then just added a word or a phrase. And so this, I sit down and I cut a bunch of mats in the different colors that I think I might want, and I just have them stuck in with the card bases. And then it's a pretty simple process after that of putting them together. Here's this one. So they're all the same. It's exactly the same flower. They look completely different whether you put a base. Hi, Tam. Whether you put them on a card front mat like this one, like the green, or if you put them straight onto the card base. This one, when you're working with opposites on the color wheel, then it has a very vibrant appearance, which is one reason I like the yellow and the purple. Here's another one. When you work with a neutral background, it's a very different vibe than this one, even though it's the same exact flower. Okay. And here's another one. And once you use the same color background as the image, then you really have to have that black outline around it. So that becomes really important. Really important. And I even went in and outlined a lot of the stamens because they were kind of lost in translation. So I did that. And then this one is the same idea as the one with the dog, where I made one that was, I enlarged, this is larger than the other ones. Okay, so this size is larger, and that way it runs off the card. And that's particularly effective, I think. But, you know, it's just what do you like? And then I added the pollen on each one of them. Or did I? No, I guess that was actually, that I actually added it on this. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so there you have the lily. So let's move to this and let's go through the process together. Hi, Linda. So yeah, I'm kind of marching through this and not watching the chat a whole lot. It's one of those days, you guys. Kind of had a rough moment earlier in the week. However, I'm okay. I am okay. All right, so let's go to this. So here's the Amaryllis. And so I took a piece of tracing paper. And this is the tracing paper that I used. This is the premium tracing paper by Master's Touch. This is different than the regular tracing paper. I didn't realize that there were different grades of tracing paper, to tell you the truth. I just happened to pick this one up. It's a couple dollars more expensive than the regular tracing paper, but it's more like a vellum. It has a heavier, it's a heavier body to the paper. And so I found that I really like that. I like it a lot. All right, so what I did was I took this piece of tracing paper I put it over my image. Okay, so it's over, just put it over the image. And then with a pencil, I traced the different petals. Amaryllis has 6 petals, and so I did that. So I've got the 3 petals, and then there's 3 kind of behind. These are the stamen and the antlers. And so I just simplify the image as much as possible, and because the flower petal ran off the bottom of the picture, I just made it up. And it could be a big, deeper petal if I wanted, whatever, you know, it doesn't really matter. Then I took that to my pathetic printer that's not being very cooperative right now. Hello, Ann. And hello to anybody that I happen to miss. Hi, Joan. Aw, thank you. Tell Tim thank you very much. I do feel safe. I just don't feel great yet. I'm working on it. Yeah, I'm working on it. But thank you, Tim. So what I did here then was made sure that I divided those petals up so I knew exactly where the petals were, and I numbered them so I knew where each one was. Hello, Stacy May. And then I used my same tracing paper and traced off each petal. So there's petal number 1 right here. And then so each one is its own individual petal, okay? And each one has a number that corresponds to my map. This is my main map. Now, some of them you kind of have to make them up, because like this number 4 goes in behind, so I just kind of have to make it up. Number 5 is the same way. It kind of have to make it up. And sometimes what helps when you do this is if you draw an arrow, that will, if it makes it easier for you to understand that that's the direction that it goes, okay, which may seem obvious to you until you get into a petal like this, which is just kind of a weirdness. Okay, so then there's petal number 6, and then I just drew some stamen. These are the antlers and then the stamen, just so that I have kind of that general idea. Okay? All right. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a second, because I didn't get this done earlier, and we're going to cut these apart. And if you have any questions for me, put them in the chat in all caps. Otherwise, we will keep on trucking. I find it easiest when I'm cutting things out, and this is probably very obvious to most of you. But some of you, here comes Chance. Hello, Chance. He finally heard me talking, so he's showing up. I find it easiest to divide the things up. Hello. Are you wanting to come up and say hello to everybody while I cut up petals? All right. Okay. All right. You can entertain everybody. How about that? Can you talk to them? Hmm? You want me to talk? You want, actually what you want is you want me to stop and scratch your head, but I'm busy. I think I've told you that his favorite thing to do these days is to snuggle the floor vent in my guest room, because he just thinks that that is the best thing ever. It's the best thing he's discovered in a while. Also, when you're cutting, in case this is, again, very cutting 101, first of all, don't have a cat helping you. But what you want to do is to turn the paper. Chance you're making this really difficult, bud. You want to turn the paper and not the scissors. You kind of keep your scissors in a stationary place. Chance, you're really making this hard, babe. Stop. Stop it. But just turn your paper. And if you've got a cat around, be real careful. Because if you're not real careful, first of all, his tail is lethal. Okay, how about if we just do it this way? His tail is lethal, and so he has been known to clear an entire surface. I don't know how Siamese cats' tails get to be so strong, and his is so much stronger than what Charlie's was. Some animals have soft tails, and some can wipe the surface of the desk. Chances he has upended more things that I was working on. I have a lap desk that I bought at Barnes & Noble several years ago that I could work on the couch. You know, it's padded on the bottom, and it was something that was on sale that I bought at Barnes & Noble one time so that I could be sitting close to Claus Man when he was, so I knew where he was. And honestly, Chance can come from nowhere. And he's been really good at this for a long time. He can come from absolutely nowhere, jump up on the lap desk, upend the whole thing, and I lose track of everything I'm doing. Everything. He's done that to me more times. Or what his latest trick is, because he knows he's not supposed to do that now, or he'll come up on the couch and he will stand beside me, and then he puts his foot up on the lap desk like he's testing the waters to see if this time could he get away with it. Just this one time. Could he just get up there just this one time? You're making this really challenging, man. You're really challenging me. Not that you care. Not that you care. You don't care, do you? Mm-mm. Quit. Come on, man. Have you guys ever tried to cut around a cat? So you're trying to be accurate in what you're doing. I can put him off. I can put him off the table, and all he's going to do is yowl. So I'm going to guess that everybody's getting a charge out of watching him torture me anyway. We have had screwy weather here this week. We've had some beautiful days. Right now it's sunny and gorgeous outside. It's a little chilly, but it's beautiful out. And we've had some just gloomier and all get out days. One more petal, you guys. One more petal. I have one more petal to do. Can you let me do it, please? He's trying to pet his head on my hand. Bless him, bless him, bless his heart. He's really aging. Quit showing your rear end to the world, okay? Please. He is really aging, but so far, so good. He's going to be turning 16 here before very long. I really should get out his papers and find out exactly when his birthday is, because I don't remember. We got the pair of them in May one year, and they were 5 and 6. And he's the younger of the pair. But of course I can't remember. He's 15. I don't know how old, I don't know when his birthday is. Anyway, when he came here, he was, one of the cats was Frank and the other one was George. I think that's right. Race remembers. There's just been way too much water that's passed under that bridge. I just couldn't stand having a Siamese cat with a country and western name. It just didn't make sense to me. Okay, I have all the petals cut out. Now, all right, let's just pet you for a minute and look at the chat. He is sweet. He really is. He's a good boy. You don't mind? He's a good boy. He's just cranky sometimes. But so am I. Huh. Yeah, so am I. Okay. Do you think you could go in the other room now? Do you think you could? You don't need to show your hind end to the world. How about? And of course, after I snuggle him and hug him a little bit, I'm just full of cat hair. Yes, you're a good boy. You and your 3 teeth. He spends a lot of time putting his tongue back in his mouth because the one side of his mouth, he's missing the upper big canine tooth, or whatever tooth they call it in cats. Feline, is it a feline tooth in cats? So he's missing that big upper tooth. And so he can't, there's nothing to hold his tongue in on that side. So he spends a lot of time trying to get his tongue back in his mouth. He's a mess. He's a good boy. I don't know, Barbara. Let me look. I got this package of stuff here. I got one from Amber. Eureka, California. Is that where you are? Are you in Eureka? There's no name, just address. One from Darlene Sarver. One from Dolores Ormsby. And one from Jennings in Arizona. Those are the ones I have. But I have not... okay, that's fine. That's fine. Those are the ones I have at the moment. But I haven't been to the post office for several days. The box. Yes, that's you. Okay. Okay, I will open them. I'll open all of them. I just haven't done it. Honestly, you guys, I just haven't felt like it. The truth of the matter is, I just haven't felt like I had one rotten day this week. I should not complain. I should not complain. You know what? Complaining does not do any good. All right, let's put this kitty in the other room. All right. Okay. Yes, thank you guys for sending cards for Lena. I really appreciate that. Really do. I know she's going to love it. Okay. So what we have now is we have 6 petals. So we're going to hang in here and we're going to get this together. Okay. So here is our master, like the map of the flower, okay? And then here are the different, these are gel prints that I have in different renditions of reds and pinks, kind of reds, pinks, oranges. And honestly, they'll all look fine. Some of these we did the other night. There's definitely a purpley one that may not make the cut. This one probably will. The purple one we're going to pitch to the side. And the orange one maybe go to the side too. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll use all those. Okay. Let me come back to, we're going to actually use this one because this one's got the numbers on it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to make these 3 the brightest of the petals. So let me come back. 1, 2, 2, and 3. Okay, so we're going to do 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to use the 3 brightest colors for that. So that's not this one. Maybe we'll use number 1, 2. Maybe we'll do, I think we'll do number 1 for this. So just because this is a full print that I could use as it is for some, it doesn't matter. I can make another one if I want to sometime. So I'm just going to find a place to put my petal on here, wherever it is I want to put it, and then I'm just going to trace around it. If you were going to do a whole bunch of these, then I would make these templates out of something sturdier than tracing paper, but as I said, this is a fairly sturdy tracing paper because it's the premium one. And before I lose where that is, I'm going to chunk it out. Because even though you draw around it, sometimes it is so easy to lose your outline. But I just kind of chunk them out. Okay, so there's number 1. And we'll do number 2, or number 2 on this one. And you can use more than one part of a gel print because they're different. You usually have, different components on a gel print. Okay, and usually I don't draw them when I'm working on something like this. I don't draw them quite this darkly, but it's for the purpose of you guys being able to see what I'm doing. It usually works better that way. Okay, so we got petal number 2. And then petal number 3. So we got 1 and 2. Put those off to the side. And let's go with petal number 3. They have these sort of striations in the petals. So we might as well take advantage of some of that in the design. So those of you who are VIP members at HowToGetCreative.com, Tomorrow we are going to be doing what I call gridded collage, and so I will be sending out an email later today with the link. I just haven't gotten it done yet. I would like to offer an excuse, but I really don't have one, other than I didn't know if I was going to feel... This has been the longest, craziest, not feeling good stretch I have had, I think, in a really, really, really long time. Okay, there's petal number 3. Okay, and then we're going to do petal number 5. That's something kind of interesting. Petal number 5. Let's do this one. Okay, let's go here. The other day I felt crappy enough I couldn't even drive. That is really crappy for me. Complaining does no good. Had never stopped me, but it doesn't do any good. So this, by just kind of chunking them out, it gives me a chance to audition the colors first. And I'll show them to you here in just a minute, before I go to the trouble of cutting them all out. So there's 4. I mean, that was petal number 5. We're going to do petal number 4. Okay, I'm going to do petal number 4 right here. Okay, there's petal number 4. One of the great things about jelly plate prints, or paste paper prints, is that you get so much variety out of one print, and I truly, truly love that. Okay, this is going to be number 4. And let's see, for petal number 6, let's see if maybe we can pull something else from this one. Maybe, let's get some. And see, it doesn't bother me to just take it right out of the middle of the print, because, you know, I'll use the scraps for other things. That's why periodically I just take time and just make a whole bunch more jelly prints or do a whole bunch more paste papers, because I really like the variety of color and pattern. And besides that, then you don't run the risk of getting in trouble for using somebody else's artwork. Truly, I don't mind using other people's scrapbook papers and that kind of stuff. That doesn't bother me at all. Okay, so here is what we have. And this red one is I don't know, it's not too bad. Maybe it might be redder than I want. Put more of a purple. I don't think so. You know what? We're just going to go with it because I think in the end it's probably going to be fine. All right, so it's going to take a minute. So you go through all this trouble doing this. But once you have your image, whether it's a flower or the dog, like I did for Wendy, or a cat, whatever it is, once you've built your image, then you just, all you have to do is take it and copy it. Okay, so there's number 1. All right, let's put number 4 in the background. I'm sure you can tell that I'm not watching the chat at the moment. It's hard to watch the chat and cut on a line, you know what I mean? I get this petal cut and then I got to remember to ink these before I put them together. It's so easy to forget that step. Okay, there's number 4. We'll just work our way around. So what I'll do for Monday, if everything goes well, I will go and get, because my printer is not cooperating with me, I'm going to have to go to the copy shop and get laser color prints of these, which is fine, because then I'll have a bunch of them. Okay, so 3. All right, this is number 6. Oh, I was going to look at the chat. I haven't been eating a whole lot, and today I ate a little bit more than I've been eating. My tummy is like, what have you done? Girl, what have you done? What have you stuck into me? Okay, so there's number 6. Let me just cut the rest of these out, then I'll look at chat. How about that? Same thing with these. You want to hold the scissors basically in the same position and then just keep turning the paper as you cut. It is bright and sunshiny out today, which is just lovely. I appreciate the sunshine. Okay, that one's going to go on top, so we need to do 5 and stick it underneath. So as I said, VIP group tomorrow, we're going to do gridded collage. We made hopefully everybody has a journal that they're working in, or that you made one that I showed you how to do a couple of months ago. Actually, think maybe I'm gonna, even though I'm taking artist license here, let me put that red one underneath a little bit. So, okay, good enough. Okay. All right, now I will look at chat. Is Diane here? Hi, Diane. I was just talking about you earlier. Hi, Kathy. Here, I guess I could, like, talk to you, couldn't I? You know, the truth of the matter is, Kathy, I'm still kind of in the trenches. Hi, Josie. Kind of in the trenches with it still. It does kind of look like a quilt applique. It's all jelly plate prints. Yeah, I gotta ink them. Thank you. Hi, Tara. Okay, I think I'm caught up. If there's anything I missed, send it again in all caps because I missed it. Okay, let's ink them again. Ink them. And I think what I'm going to ink them with to get some definition out of them is I'm going to use probably, let's see. Actually, I'm going to just use the cobalt blue because that's my go-to ink. It is my go-to color. So let's ink them before I forget about it. And by the way, those of you that might be wondering, did I put the bubble wrap away? I did not. So far, he hasn't found it. The jury is out. When I come in here and he has destroyed it, you know I'm going to be upset that I didn't put it away. You know I'm going to be upset. Okay, cobalt blue, archival ink. Hello, Alicia. All right, cobalt blue, that's what I'm using. Or cobalt. Doesn't say cobalt blue. That's probably totally redundant. Okay, so let's... And when I put these back together, I may put them back together differently than I just had them. And so, you know, that's perfectly fine too, right? It's legal to change your mind. It's also legal that just because this was a picture that my dad took, and although he would not approve of me taking artist license, it's okay for me to do it. One of my favorite stories about my dad is when I started making dolls. And I was so excited to go take a class with this doll artist that really started my journey in doll making. And she was a little out there, you know. She combined lots of different colors, and her style was very kind of in your face, very, very different from anything that I was used to doing. And she would combine many prints into one doll, and the features of her dolls were, facial features were just, you know, outrageous and exaggerated and everything. And like I said, so different than anything that I would do. And I spent a whole weekend making this doll, and I was so excited for her. Now, she wasn't a beautiful doll. She was far, far from a beautiful doll. But, you know, I was so excited that I got to go do this class, and I loved the process, and, you know, I learned so much from this class and all that. I was so excited to show it to my parents because we lived in the same town. And I went over and to their house because I was so excited to show them. And my dad had his own opinion about most things. And he said, "That's what you spent the whole weekend doing?" I said, "Yeah." And he said "Well, I'm really glad I don't have to look at that all the time." I'm like, "Well, thanks, Dad." Yeah, that was really nice, Dad. But, he was opinionated, if nothing else. He was very glad that he didn't have to look at that all the time. Like, okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's come back down here and we'll look at this. Okay, so I'm making, kind of putting this together the way that I think I want it to go. More or less the way I want it to go. It doesn't have to be exactly the way it was in the picture. I think that's okay. I think I can deal with that. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attempt, hope my head doesn't get too much in the way here. We're going to try to get all these petals coming into the center. Okay? All right. Of course, the glue is not going to work. All right. That's why we have multiple bottles of tacky glue and every other kind of glue, because I can't seem to make myself throw away the ones that don't work. So that would be why I have so many bottles of glue. Okay, try again. Because what I want to do is just tack, as the name says, tacky glue. All I want to do is just tack them together. And I'm going to work my way around here. We'll get a more permanent bond here in a minute. This is just because I need to hold them together. And I'm trying to also allow you guys to see what I'm doing. I started watching a series last night, or yesterday I guess it was, on Hulu, called The Librarians. Have you guys seen that? It's a little bit on the order of Harry Potter, but not really. Kind of an interesting, that the heroes of this show are the librarians. It's kind of a funny concept. Not that librarians aren't heroes. It was just, kind of an unexpected. It's not exactly what you would. I think it's either The Librarian or The Librarians. I can't remember. I mean, I've slept since then, kind of. Actually didn't sleep last night very well. crazy. You know how your brain turns on and doesn't want to turn off? That kind of happened last night. Okay, so you guys got the idea. We now have it stuck together. You've heard of it? It's pretty good. All right. Well, that sets up just a little bit longer. Let me read the chat. Exactly, CB. Just looking at the chat here. Hello, Stacy. I think I saw you earlier. Didn't I? Hi, Janice. I'm not sure. If I missed saying hello to you, thank you for joining me. I know my energy is low today. I know it is. I wish it were different. It just isn't. It just isn't. Okay. It just isn't. But I wanted to be here because I wanted to be here with you guys. Okay, overall, it's pretty well stuck together. So there's the petals, and it's one uniform piece, and I may want to put just a little bit on this. This little kind of bit of that petal. That'll kind of stabilize the whole kit and caboodle back there in the back. And in the front, maybe this. That way it's pretty much all much better. It's much better because it's now one piece. So here's our master, and then, you know, it's pretty reasonably close to that piece. Now, does it look like an amaryllis? No, it does not right now. And hopefully it will by the time we're done, but you know what? If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's okay. So the next thing I'm going to do, just to give it more stability and to give it more presence, is to put it on this black cardstock. Oh, thanks, Linda. I'm glad I came today, too. I always feel better when I'm here. Always feel better when I'm here. There is absolutely no doubt about that. Okay, I'm going to use glue stick. This is my preferred glue stick at the moment. I don't even know if you can still get it. This is Elmer's Extreme. It used to be readily available at Walmart and every craft store. And then it got real hard to find for some crazy reason. And I found it on Amazon and I bought a case. I used to buy glue sticks. And put them in the freezer to keep them, because I didn't use them very often. I didn't use them fast enough. And so I'd have to put them in the freezer to keep them from molding. You know, poor Claus man. I would have things in the refrigerator and he'd say, is it okay to eat this? It's like, no, that's dye. I mean, I would label it. You know, don't eat. One day he got in the freezer and there was a whole bag of glue sticks in there, and he goes, why are there glue sticks in the freezer? Like, to preserve them. Well, why is that? Well, because I don't use them fast enough. That's why. Poor man. He lived a hard life with me. Oh, well. Okay, so glue stick to the rescue. All right, one more time. I'm going to chunk it out, and then I'm going to trim it up. It's just a lot easier if you're not trying to deal with a big piece of anything. If you get rid of the bulk of it first. And once you do, then you can come in and you can come in here, and I just go by eye. You know, it's not necessarily the most precision cutting, but I judge between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of an inch, probably 3/16 of an inch. But I don't care what the measurement is. I'm only going by eye. So this is the equivalent of doing a black outline if you were drawing something and you wanted to re-emphasize the shapes of things. I often do a black outline around things. It was something we used to do back when I was doing a lot of decorative painting. You would come in and do a black outline, and it would just sharpen everything up. And that's kind of the idea behind this. Now, when you do copies, like laser copies or inkjet copies, around the outside of this, although you're going to have the black, outline, the color core of the paper, it's going to copy onto white cardstock or white paper. I prefer cardstock when I'm having them copy it at a copy shop. The edge is going to be white because it's going to show the white part of the paper. So you'll need to come back and either re-ink this to get rid of the white core of the paper or cardstock, or use a marker to get rid of that. It's going to look much better if you'll do that. It's just one little extra step, and it makes a big difference. Okay, so let us go to, let's make some stamen and antlers, shall we? Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to use this little gold. This is one of my favorite prints from the other night, that gold and aqua. So I'm just going to look nice, Tara. I'm just going to look at my little pattern here, and I'm just going to make some of these. I was just looking to see if I had do I have a felt tip? A felt tip that is usable. Oh, not bad. Okay, how about let's just make some. So I'm just going to make a bunch of them. I'm just looking at the shapes here. Okay, that surely is enough. And then somewhere here, Here they are. I have my little stamen, just so I have kind of a reminder there. Thanks, Star. All right, once again, we are going to chunk these out. And before I cut those out, because those will have a tendency to fly away, I'm going to get what I'm going to use for the stamen. And I'm just going to see if I can just freehand some stamen. That may be a little severe. Doesn't probably need to be that long. And this is where it starts getting real fiddly. But it's a little hard for me to get the visual until I just kind of lay them out. You know? And you end up with 900 little bits and pieces of stuff. This one is not good. We're going to go again on that one. This is again from the jelly plate printing that we did on Monday night. Thanks for just kind of hanging with me today as I work on this. I hope it'll be worth your while when we get it done, huh? And maybe let's do one more, huh? And this is where you really have to take some artist license. You're never going to make this exactly the way it looks in the picture. Let's get the picture back out so you can kind of remember what we're doing. Okay, so this is what we're doing here, the stamen with the antlers. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 at the top. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe we'll do one more short one. And then if I need more, I can always add those later. Okay, so kind of got the center part, and I probably am not going to glue this together while you guys are here because this is going to be fiddly. However, I'm going to go ahead and cut out at least some of them. And this is where people who can use tweezers, this would be really good for them to do. I am terrible with tweezers. Doesn't make any difference what it is you do with a pair of tweezers, I'm not good at it. Some people APG Jamie springs to mind. She's really good with a pair of tweezers. I'm terrible at it. I don't know why. And I had somebody one day write in the chat, "You're challenged over tweezers." It's like, okay, you know, we all have our thing. We all have our thing that we cannot do well. At least I admitted it. And I've got every kind of tweezers you can imagine. I have the ones that you squeeze to open them and then let go of them, you know, and they'll hold the whatever. Does not matter. I've got the other kind that you pinch to open them, you know, or pinch to hold on to the thing. And now I've lost my, here they are, stuck to my shirt. Good grief. It doesn't matter. I don't know. Some people are just masterful at that stuff. I am not. Pitiful. I do better just powering through with my fingertips and no fingernails. People who are good with tweezers can just, I mean, the stuff they can do with them is just, I just look at them and go, it's kind of like a hot glue gun. I can't do that either. You got to know what your limits are, people. You got to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. I can play the piano and not everybody can do that. Okay, you kind of got the idea here. So what I will do, see, I can't even do it in front of you guys. I'll end up saying bad words if I persist in this activity. What I will do is I will add the antlers to the stamen. So I'll glue those together and then I will arrange them on top of this Amaryllis bloom. Okay? And then what I will do is I will take them to, once it's all done, then I'm going to set it under a heavy book so that it flattens out, because right now it's bowing because of the glue. I will set it under a heavy book to dry, and then I will take it and have it copied and reduced. I'll have some made this size and some made in a smaller size. And then and we'll see how this color reproduces, because sometimes reds and stuff don't reproduce very well. Anyway, we'll see how it looks, and then we'll see if we can make some cards with it come Monday night. Okay? Jan says she is a founding member of Gluing the Right Elbow to the Left Ear Glue Gun Club. I can just burn the crap out of my hands. Even with a low temp glue gun, I can burn myself. It's not, there are some tools that are just not good for me. That's one of them. Yep, that's one of them. Hi, Margaret. You can't use tweezers? I am so glad. Perfect place for stickles. Maybe I'll put some stickles on there afterward too. You never know. Dar is masterful with a glue gun. I know that. I've seen that. Yeah, Diane Fago is really good with tweezers too. That's true. That's true. We all have to be good at something. We're all rotten at other things. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for being here with me today. VIP members, I promise I will get an email out to you with a link for tomorrow. I do have the class prepared, so this is good. And I have last month's class. I have things to add to that, and then I will get all the videos up. Anyway, never mind. No excuses. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being with me. I will see you Monday. Remember to get creative today. I will be back Monday at 7 Eastern in the evening, my time. Also, the time changes this weekend. We spring forward. So when you come back on Monday and Friday, check your world clock to see what time that is. Okay, 7 Eastern, check the clock. And 2 p.m. Eastern on Friday, check the world clock so you know, in case your time doesn't change, or if your time changes at a different time than ours does, that our time changes this weekend. Okay? So we spring forward and lose an hour. My favorite time of the year. Not. All right. Hi, Sharon. Thanks for being here, everybody. I will see you hopefully on Monday, and we'll make some cards and see what else, or something else. I don't know. Sometimes the muse changes my mind. You never know. So remember to get creative today, because you know it's easy, and I will see you before you know it. Bye for now. Have a great weekend, everybody.